Hello, everybody. Welcome to our session about Cortex Agents. So if you haven't checked that out yet, please check out our blog post about what we have announced in terms of the feature set of Cortex Agents. I will be your host, James Cha-Earley. I am the developer advocate for AI. I'm a longtime lover of geeking out with folks about technology. Today, I have two great folks joining me here today. I have Harshal and Arun. Harshal is a strategic product leader with a track record of building successful AI-driven products. With expertise in cloud, ML, and networking, and he blends technical innovation with business strategy. He holds a master's degree from UC Berkeley and uh, University of Toledo. And also, I have Arun. Arun leads our AI products, so him and I work closely together here at Snowflake. And with 15 years of experience in various R&D and business roles, he specializes in data integration and innovation and shaping the future of AI. So to kick us off, I'm going to hand it to Arun to talk about what we have announced and what we're going to uh, all things Snowflake agents.
Thank you, James. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and chat with you about agents, data agents, and how we are thinking about agents within Snowflake. I will take the next few minutes to kind of ground us up, and then I will pass it over to Harshal, who is going to do a deep dive on Snowflake Cortex Agents. James, are we sharing the slide deck somewhere?
We are. So
amazing.
Perfect.
Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Just to remind folks that if you are making any purchasing decisions, please do so by looking at the latest information we have on our website. Just a quick legal reminder. So we are here to talk about data agents and Cortex agents. And as we all know, that data is the foundation of any good AI strategy. So if you're thinking about generative AI, it's just as good as the data the data it used to train the models and the data it uses to retrieve while answering user questions. So, we really want to think about how do we get that high quality data, which is well governed as the enterprises are going from POC to production. So at Snowflake, we've been thinking about this deeply, and there are three things that we feel enterprises need. The first one is a unified data strategy. So the AI models should be able to access databases as well as unstructured data, such as documents, contracts, and emails. So that's the first thing. The second thing is now that the enterprise can access this type of data, there should be strong governance across all of this. So we are talking about security, compliance, access control across all of the data sources. And then finally, once we have all of that, it's also important to have efficient retrieval system. So using the right tools so that the AI can retrieve the relevant information that's accurate and is also efficient. So if your data is fragmented, if there are governance issues, or if there is inaccuracies in terms of accessibility, then AI won't be able to deliver meaningful results. And this is why, if you go to the next slide, James, this is why we have been building Snowflake Cortex AI. And if you look at this entire stack, our mission is to make AI easy, efficient, and trusted. At the bottom of this layer, you will see there are several models that we have. In fact, we have the most complete foundational model layer. We have models from Anthropic, Meta, Mistral, and just yesterday we made an announcement of our partnership with Microsoft. So now we are also bringing OpenAI models within Snowflake Cortex AI. In addition to that, we also have task-specific functions and other embedding models. Now, if you look at the top of the stack, you will see these experiences that we are building, such as Copilot and Document AI. So Copilot helps you go from text to SQL, and Document AI helps you extract structured data from various documents. But today, we want to focus on this middle layer, which is all about data agents and certain tools that we have built for you. So let's jump in. If you go to the next slide, let's take a step back to first think about this problem of data agents. So, we all know at this point that agents are enhancing business productivity, and they can handle complex tasks. They can deal with multi-step operations in minutes. So we know the potential of this technology and how important this is for enterprises. But in order to have good AI agents, we want to make sure it has the right type of information. It can look through structured and unstructured data that enterprises have to be effective and reliable. So there are three types of challenges we see when it comes to addressing data agents in enterprise space. The first is all about accuracy. We know that at enterprises, we have a high bar for agentic systems to have high quality output that enterprise users can trust. So, think about the margin of error, which is super low, especially when you're in functions such as sales, finance, or engineering. The second is around trust and security, right? We want to make sure that the AI agent is respecting the existing security and governance policies that has become increasingly challenging just because the data is growing exponentially. I just did a quick ChatGPT search this morning to learn that currently we have about 180 zettabytes of data in this world, and it's been growing at 20% CAGR year over year for the last 5 years. So we all know that this is an interesting challenge to handle. And then the last one is, with all of that in mind, how do we how do we give that governance to our data? How do we make sure that because the data is split over so many different systems, they all have the right amount of governance associated with it? So we have been thinking deeply about this, and these are the foundational principles for us as we are building data agents and Cortex agents at Snowflake. And the reason we are building this is because our customers can see a lot of value. There are many different use cases that data agents are useful for. From James, if you go to the next slide, where we have use cases such as claims processing, customer support, insurance underwriting, etc. The example that comes to my mind is if you are a brand manager at a consumer product company, you may want to know how your sales is doing at a particular retailer, which is structured data. But then you may also want to know why is a particular product selling well, which is more of the customer reviews, that is more of an unstructured data type. So, by combining all of this under one hood, we will be able to get more insights very quickly for enterprises. In fact, there are several different companies out there who are using this technology already for us, and they're partnering with us. Just to name a few, Nissan, Penske, Bayer, S&P Global, they're all interested in this technology. They're using a lot of the technology here to kind of get to that production level for enterprise AI. And there are three clear reasons for this. The first one is we are making this easy by creating the single platform for processing, retrieval, and orchestration of your data. We make it really easy for our customers to make use of data agents. The second is it's highly efficient. We have built tools that are very accurate out of the box, as well as we offer flexibility to our customers. And Harshal is going to talk more about that in just a minute. And then the final reason is, which is also the most important one, is this data agent technology is trusted. We have unified governance from ingestion of data all the way to the application layer. And more than 11,000 customers already trust us with their data at Snowflake. So those are some of the guiding principles. But to get into the details of data agents and Cortex agents, let me hand it over to Harshal, who will walk us through it. Over to you, Harshal.
Hey, thank you. Sorry, and maybe want to yourself. Okay.
Are we having tech difficulties? You can see you, Harshal.
Okay. All right, let's go. So there are four pillars where Cortex fix. The first one, we have government data, and this is just the basic piece. Hey, can you still hear me?
Yes, you were a little choppy, but now it's clear.
Okay, so I can't see the screen, but I'll just go. Okay, so at the core we have governed data within the Snowflake secure parameter, and this is where you can create structured SQL tables, as well as have your unstructured data stored in stages. You can use granular RBAC to manage via extensive permissioning on this data. So that's the first pillar, the governed data. The second pillar that we have here is the processing engine. And this is where the data processing happens. This is for structured data. This is the state-of-the-art SQL engine that can provide scalable performance. And on the unstructured data, you can perform pre-processing so that it's in a state that is ready to be consumed. For example, you may want to translate your text or summarize a document, and Cortex AI provides you access to LLMs so that you can perform this transformation quickly. And the third pillar here is the retrieval engine, and this consists of Cortex Analyst and Cortex Search. These are tools that are used by the agent to retrieve information. So Cortex Search extracts insights from unstructured sources, while Cortex Analyst generates SQL to process the structured data. Analyst has been has an out-of-the-box accuracy of 90%, and you can create your search and analyst services customized for your data. And the fourth one here is Cortex Agents. Cortex Agents can plan or orchestrate tasks, use tools to execute them, and then reflect on results to improve responses. As part of the planning component, they explore options, split these into smaller tasks, and route to tools. At every intermediate step, they evaluate on the interim response and decide on taking the next step. Like I mentioned earlier, agents use Cortex Analyst and Cortex Search as tools, along with LLMs, to analyze and generate the answers. And after deployment, customers can track metrics and refine behavior for continuous improvements. So that's the fourth pillar, and that should give you a picture of how we are thinking of an end-to-end integration or end-to-end support for agents within the Snowflake ecosystem. Agents are available through REST APIs, so you can easily integrate these into your end applications and make them available on client applications, whether it's Streamlit, Slack, or Teams, or just your website. So with that, let's take a closer look at each one of these individual components. Next slide, please. All right. On the governed data, you store data in cloud storage, in Iceberg or Snowflake tables, and with unstructured data, this can be on your SharePoint as well. Snowflake recently acquired Datavolo, so data engineering teams can integrate all of their enterprise systems with the Snowflake unified platform. And all of this is happening within your Snowflake secure perimeter that you can access via RBAC. This allows you to meet your security, your privacy, your compliance requirements. Next slide, please. On the core processing engine, we've delivered numerous innovations to reduce the query time by 40% in the last couple of years. On unstructured data, we use batch processing with SQL, and customers see a significant reduction in latency. In some cases, the workloads that used to take 20 minutes can be processed now in as little as 20 seconds. So something state-of-the-art processing is at the core here. Next slide, please. On the data retrieval, let's talk about Cortex Analyst first. We recently launched the Claude 3.5 Sonnet on Cortex AI. As Arun mentioned, we also have OpenAI models now. With Cortex Analyst, customers can achieve 90% accuracy out of the box, and this can be customized with semantic models to further enhance this accuracy. You have features such as verified queries. For common queries, you can add business-specific rules and custom instructions. Analyst is used as a tool within Cortex Agents, like we discussed earlier. And with the industry-leading text-to-SQL from analysts, customers can now provide an accurate and performant experience. Next slide, please. So let's take a quick look at Cortex Search as well. It provides best-in-class accuracy, 11% better than OpenAI. And search combined with the semantic and keyword-based searches delivers a hybrid search. And we continue to improve via parameter tuning and evaluations. Also, you can personalize this by passing additional signals and adapting to your business requirements. Next slide, please. All right, to wrap it up, Cortex agents using analyst, search, LLMs, and observability allow you to get meaningful insights on a unified governance framework and efficient processing engine for both structured and unstructured data. With that, I'll turn it over to James, who's going to conduct a quick demo. James?
Thanks, Harshal. So we wanted to show you how this all comes together. So here I have a Streamlit in Snowflake application that integrates the Cortex Agents API. From here, I have the semantic model for my tables, as well as a Cortex search service, so that way I can connect that too. So let's go ahead and ask it a question. So let's talk about, I want to know about our sales data. So show me a sales data. Show me our sales data. So all that queries, so what is happening in the background is, as Harshal talked about, the agent is going through, picking the right tool. Here it's, what I wanted to do is choose analyst, and if that's what it did, and it's brought up our sales data. So let's see how our team is doing. Our team is doing pretty good. So that's the structured data. Let's go ahead and talk about unstructured data. So let's go, hey, what is the most recent, sales conversation? And here, what it's going to use is the Cortex search service to be able to do that hybrid search. And so do the semantic search. So it's doing the search in the background to be able to find those pieces of data that I want, the hybrid search. So the semantic and the keyword search for this as well. So as you see, we had a conversation. It was a very positive call, and the customer needs immediate implementation. So that's a great conversation for us that will lead to a sale for our organization. So that's a little bit of a demo, a little bit of a show of what you can do in the power of our Cortex agents. Then we'll move it on to a Q&A. So Frida, if you could take off the share screen, please. And from here, let's just pretend. Harshal, this is a question for you. Let's say I know nothing about agents, but I'm a Snowflake customer. How do I use this tech?
Sure, thank you, Jim. So Snowflake, you can get insights with structured and unstructured data, and it's really straightforward to set up. Can you still hear me?
You're coming out a little bit choppy.
Yeah. So let me continue. Sorry, I'm having audio issues today. So with Cortex Agents, it's really easy. You set up your structured data. These are your SQL tables, and create a semantic model file, and use Analyst as a tool to interact with your structured side of the house. On the unstructured piece, you set up a search index. These are all your documents, PDFs, and set up the search tool. With the analyst and search tool, now you can use the agent to get insights. You can interact with the agent, ask questions, and the agent would identify the right tool, route to it, get a response, and surface that response back to the end user. So the problem, like as Arun mentioned earlier in the call, the problem that we are trying to solve for our customers, we are grounded in the key pain point that it's really difficult to interact with structured and unstructured data in the same application. With Cortex Agents, we now solve this problem so that it's really easy for you to set up such an application.
So for us all to do all that, there's so many LLMs out there. Arun, which models or model can we use with Cortex Agents?
Yeah, that's a good question, right? There's just so many models out there. We offer most of the amount of models on Snowflake as well. For this specific product for Cortex Agents, we can use 3 different models. So Llama 3.370B, Mistral Large 2, as well as Claude 3.5 Sonnet that Harshal mentioned. So several different options, depending on the use case and how the data is structured or unstructured. Customers can make the choice and play with the different models to then make the decision of which one to go with.
That's fantastic. So we have a comments that we have from the LinkedIn Live. Yeah, so if we want to take advantage of all these parts, Harshal, that we do have, like with Snowpark, Cortex, and the AI features that we do have, can you talk a little bit deeper about like the data governance side of it and essentially like removing the noise in terms of the data quality?
Sure. So data engineering and setting up your data pipelines is a key focus area. With Cortex AI, you're able to easily process data and get it to a AI ready state where it can be consumed by downstream components such as agents. So one example I can share is what we've seen our customers do is take even some of the structured data, classify it based on certain labels, and create additional columns that can be then used for better insights. So let's say you get a product review and you want to figure out what product the review is about between your product lines. You can classify it and get that label. So you have now a higher fidelity input data with this additional details. Another example that I'd like to share is with sentiment analysis, where we have seen a strong use case across our customer base, where you use sentiment to identify is this a positive or a negative sentiment or neutral. Again, using the product review example, you can add a column identifying such a sentiment for your product lines. So those are a couple of examples, and all of this is happening with the RBAC, the governance that is really easy to implement with Snowflake.
Fantastic. So here's another question from Vishwa. I probably could take this question, but I might need some backup. So the question is, does it provide an easy to use white labeled UI, which can be integrated? So the answer is no, there's not something out of the box you just take. But we do have some really great quick starts and some more examples coming out pretty soon. So that way, if you're either on using Python, we have an example in Streamlit. If you're using the web, we have examples with that. And also, if you want to use the REST API kind of raw, we have an example with using Microsoft Teams to connect it to that, and also Slack as well. So regardless of which direction you're going, we have a quick start or an example for you there. Move on to the next question. So we have a question from Anand. So in terms of the data Volo technology, when will that be fully integrated, Harshal?
Yeah, so that's something that we are actively working on, James. And as Arun described in the session, Data Volo provides an easy way to connect to your data sources. For example, with your unstructured data, you can easily connect with SharePoint, for example, and pull data from there. And this is our part of our overall vision, where we make it easy access all types of data, make it AI ready, and then consume it in your applications. So roughly, I want to say it's going to be in the next quarter or two, but it's a high priority for us. We continue to focus on the design and getting it out to our customers.
That's super exciting that's coming out. Our next question comes from Monica. This one's going to be I feel it's like a whomper. She's trying to trick us a little bit. So this question is if she has a use case to build on top of a DWH following the medallion architecture, having structured and unstructured data, and also semi-structured data, how does Cortex Agents help her to implement it easier for herself, comparing tools to like ETL tools, for example?
Yeah. So let's take a step back. With agents today, you can integrate with two types of data sources. One is the analyst, which gives you access to the structured SQL tables, and the other one is on the Cortex Search, which gives you access to the search indices that are set up in stages on Cortex AI. We are actively working on integrations with other data sources. So if you have your data, I guess it was described in DWH or the medallion data source. So those should be we should be able to integrate with those. One is through Data Volo at some point, but even before that, we are planning for a integration with external tools so that you can use any API to access backend systems, and you could leverage the same architecture to access, let's say, from Medallion. So that's how I see this being solutioned.
Very cool. So while we wait for some more questions to come in, I actually have a question for you, Arun. So how do Anthropic models enable Cortex agents?
Yeah, so thank you for that question, James. As we mentioned, we can use Claude 3.5 Sonnet in Cortex agents to deliver accurate, efficient, and governed AI at scale. And all of this interaction happens within the Snowflake secure perimeter, which includes unified governance across the use cases, and that's what makes it so unique in terms of using Cortex agents within the Snowflake platform.
So let's say I want to use the Anthropic models, and it's not in my region. How can I still get access to it? Harshal, can you answer this one?
Sure. So Cortex AI has support for cross-region inference. Was one of the first platforms to make this possible. So all you need to do, James, is set up your cross-region parameter to AWS US, and use the complete API or the complete function call, and reference the Anthropic Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and that's it. It'll get routed to US West 2, where the model is available. Inference is processed, and the LLM response is surfaced back to the user in the local region. So that's our recommended approach.
It's a good pathway to get access, regardless of what services I'm using. When this first came out, the very first question really popped into my head, and this is a question for you, Harshal, is like, what makes it different? Why is Cortex Agents different from other agents?
Yeah, so Cortex Agents is grounded in solving real customer problems. There is a lot of discussion around agents this year, a lot of focus as it should be. But the use case that we focused on was what our customers were telling us, which is they have a tough time accessing or building applications between structured and unstructured data. Something as simple as a question like, hey, what are the top 3 customers by revenue saying about my product lines? Requires a structured query followed by unstructured. This is deceptively difficult to do. And that's where the power of Cortex Agent comes to life, where you can set this up within minutes and have such an interaction going.
Very cool. So we have one last question before we wrap up. It's from Whoopa. Can we create agentic workflows on Snowflake, which is available to access through REST APIs, mainly for inference or integration? And Harshal, I think that's a good question for you.
Yes, you can use REST APIs. The endpoint is agent::run, and you would provide your messages along with your system prompt, response instructions, and the REST API would, and you can specify the model as well, and the REST API would process it with the LLM specified and come back with a response. So absolutely, it's possible with APIs and can be integrated into your applications.
That's great. Thank you for all the great questions. Rita, can you post those 3 links I provided? These are the quick starts that I mentioned earlier. So if, regardless of what kind of interface you're building, you can quickly get started and build your Cortex agents into your applications. I want to thank you both. Thank you, Arun. Thank you, Harsha, for your time. I'm super excited by Cortex agents and really excited about you all, what you're going to build with it. So please let us know if you have any questions. And thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.